immigrant
refugees? Don't ask me. I don't know. First of all, America had, the US had a quota of refugees, and that quota had been completed. And anybody who were, there were long lines at the American embassy in Prague, everywhere. People couldn't get out of the country. Hitler wanted them out of the country initially. He didn't say, I'm going to kill everybody, stay here. He said, get out, I don't want the Jews here. But they couldn't, there was no country there. A few people got out to South America, Argentina, and to the Dominican Republic. They took refugees. It was... And also Hitler was talking initially, and the Nazis were talking about certain... There was a Madagascar, for example. You know where that is? And then there was another, Armenia, I think. There were countries all over the world, not all over, 2-3 countries, distant countries, where they said Jews would be concentrated, would be sent and given work, or could live there. Well, those were rumors. Many people tried to get out into South America, and the quota here was... there were people I don't know that much about it, except there isn't much to know. They would come in the middle of the night and stand at the American embassy, and they would put you on the list of the quota, and they would say, they would calculate, well, let's see, it will take 12 years before you can get out. Not you personally, those were the numbers. So a few families got, and then you had to have a name, which is affidavit, that is permission. So it had to be somebody in the United States or in the other countries too, who would guarantee that they would give you enough money to live or to work or whatever. And that was called an affidavit, a permission, a piece of paper or something, an invitation really, that they would take care of your every need financially and in every other. Well, so if somebody had a relative in the United States, they might have been able to send one of those affidavits, one of those permissions. But even not all relatives. Maybe there was a family of 3 sons, and one of the sons had, before the war, emigrated to the United States. Well, he was probably having a lot of work trying to keep alive alone and have a job or something. So it wasn't easy to get that permission. But even if you could, there were very few people who could send them. And even so, if you had it and you came to the embassy with everything, we have permission, we have an affidavit, we have some money out there, they would still tell you, well, we have a quota and the quota's been filled. And unfortunately, that was partially also President Roosevelt, who wasn't terribly keen on having all these refugees. Same today.
What is your understanding of what
papers, they published what was going on in these, how, everybody knew about everybody about Kristallnacht, that they had killed and murdered and destroyed businesses, and there was a number given. I don't remember, over thousands of people who had been killed during Kristallnacht. I have that number somewhere, I've forgotten. But those who mattered, really, I can't say what they knew exactly, but they knew enough. Somebody escaped from a concentration camp. And I'm not even sure if it wasn't Auschwitz. That's later. and brought documents and proof of what was going on in Europe, in Central Europe, and what the Nazis were doing. And the officials did nothing. One of the excuses was that if we, for example, there were one or two voices who begged the armed forces to bomb the concentration camps because, it was better to bomb than to murder all the time because, they could somehow, a few would save themselves. And the excuse was if we bomb the concentration camps, then we won't have enough ammunition for the rest of the enemy. All sorts of weird. Maybe it was true, I don't know. Nobody helped. And maybe a few individuals helped, but what he did with these transports, or the ones from Germany and Austria, that was before even, the war started or the occupation started, were huge heroic deeds.